Hi guys, Gaspn here. Thank you very much for your support. In this video course, we're going to learn how to connect the Ashigarami and the single leg X guard with the ankle lock submission. Okay, my primary goal on this course is finishing my opponent with the ankle lock. Okay, whether he's standing up, I'm going to use my single leg X guard to sweep him, to take him down, and then apply my submission. Or if I'm playing on top, I can also go for the Ashigarami latch on his ankle and apply my submission. Okay, it works as a system. We have many counters and recounters for my opponent's defenses, so every time that I'm locking on his ankle and he tries to defend, you're gonna have answers for that. Okay, we are gonna also touch upon some different submissions and positions, but the main course is about the Ashigarami, single leg X, and the ankle lock submission. So now let's take a look at the Ashigarami position, which is going to be the foundation for this whole course. Okay, from the Ashigarami position, I'm going to be able to attack the ankle lock. Okay, so what is the Ashigarami position? It's my leg entanglement here. Okay, Ashigarami, it actually means leg entanglement, right? A Japanese term. I'm gonna have a bite on his ankle here. I'm gonna see later how to get this, but I want to trap the leg that's under control here, under my arm. Okay, so I'm gonna have my foot here right on his hip, heel up, toes down, where it fits perfectly here against his hip. I want to have this far leg here, my foot hooking his far leg, hooking his hamstring. Okay, down low here by the hip. And I'm gonna pinch my knees together now. My knee is gonna pinch against my ankle. Tight bite here where I'm gonna secure the guy's leg now. Now even if he tries to yank his leg out, he's completely under control here. Okay? Important here for IBJJF rules. I cannot cross the center line of his body with this foot that's on his hip. Okay? If I throw my leg all the way that side, that's illegal, that's knee ripping. I'm gonna get killed. So even if we are not competing under the WEBRip rules, I really don't want to have my toes pointing up like this, because he can catch my foot here with a corkscrew ankle lock. Right? Also, if I pass my foot all the way to the other side, he can also start attacking heel hooks here. So it's safer to stay with my foot here by his hip, where he cannot peel off, and I have a nice good control here. Another function of this foot here is keeping the guy down there. As he tries to stand up, I keep pushing on his hip. Okay, and that's my power source for the ankle lock we're gonna see later. I'm gonna be pushing off here on his hip in order to catch the submission. Okay, my other foot here, my far foot, it's hooking his far leg by the hamstring close to the mat. Okay, that hook prevents him from trying to roll out, right? If he tries to roll to his right side, I'm hooking that leg. That's my door stopper. Okay, it's important for my ankle lock. It's also important if you guys are trying to do something besides IBJJF rules. I can always have my heel hook here too. The Ashigarami is a great position for the heel hooks as well. So if I start going for my heel hook and he tries to roll out following the motion of the heel hook, he won't be able to roll, or at least I'm going to slow him down because of this hook on the far leg. Okay, so it's really important. Also, my foot hooking the near leg exposes this leg here. If he grabs my ankle here and pulls towards his hip, I will have to tap. Okay, it is a heel hook here. So it's safer to stay on the outside. Also, I'm going to stop him, and this foot here rests on his leg, on his hip, so I can have my power source here to apply my foot lock. Okay? Now let's take a look on how to control the ankle when I'm going for my ankle lock. Okay? You already saw how to position my legs into the Ashigarami position. And now let's adjust the grip on his ankle, okay? So what do I want? I want to have right in the middle of my forearm here, right? Where the muscle connects with the bone, right in the middle. I want this part of my forearm right here low by his Achilles, okay? Achilles tendon. The higher it is towards his calf muscle, the less effective it's gonna be, okay? So this is a very common mistake from the beginner. When he latches the ankle, he tries to apply the submission right away, but it's not really in position. It's too high on the muscle here. So sometimes it is painful, but not enough for him to tap. So you're gonna see how to adjust this low towards the Achilles tendon. But right now, middle of the forearm, right at the Achilles here, okay? I'm gonna bite his leg. I'm gonna have my hand here high on my chest, okay? See that this is also super important, okay? If my hand is low by my hip, see that there is a lot of space here? I'm gonna close this gap here by having my hand all the way towards my chest, okay? Can even hug here my chest with my hand. Sometimes, once you guys get better at this, one hand is enough. I don't even need both hands, okay? Middle of my forearm against his Achilles, really low here on his ankle. And I'm gonna lock my hands together, okay? If necessary, in a guillotine grip, okay? Guillotine grip. Every time that I'm starting to apply the submission and my hand starts going down, this hand helps to keep my other hand up. So always here, always up, with a very little gap here in between my arm and his foot, okay? There are different ways, people teach different ways how to wrap the ankle. Some people and some situations you're gonna see where I'm gonna use really my wrist here, the bone really close to my hand, okay? It's another way of doing it. For some ankle locks, I'm gonna have really deep next to my elbow, but generally speaking, the deeper it is, less painful it's gonna be on his ankle because there is too much cushion here, right? My muscles here cushioning against his Achilles tendon is not going to cause enough pain. If you guys watched the bonus video where me and my student break down the ankle lock, right? You want to cause pain on the Achilles tendon. That's one way of submitting the guy. The other way is really dislocating the ankle, okay? When I go to dislocate the ankle, I can use this grip here because I'm not really trying to cause pain. I'm going to dislocate his ankle, okay? The way we're going to do is going to be a combination of both, okay? I'm going to have right here in the middle of my forearm again, with my hand all the way up, closing the gap. And we're going to maneuver the legs in a minute here to start working the foot lock or ankle lock, okay? Now, also really important, I want to have my radius bone here, the sharp part of my bone against his Achilles, okay? So the angle that I get his leg, his ankle, is super important. If I turn my arm like this, I'm gonna have this flat part against his ankle, which is not good enough. That's why when I use the figure four grip, my forearm tends to rotate here. So this grip, although it's very strong and powerful, is not really bothering his Achilles compared to this one here, right? This one, I can, depending on the way you do it, yes, you can break his shin, sometimes separate his ankle, but it takes way more effort, okay? That's why you don't see this much. This old school, that's how it used to be, right? Now, you're gonna use the sharp part of my forearm, my radius bone, okay, against his Achilles. I always try to keep my thumb up, so I have the sharp part there, bothering his Achilles. hand all the way up as we talked before. When I'm wearing my gi and I try to control my collar, which is a good option, we're gonna see later, I also have to take care of the same thing. I don't wanna control my collar and rotate my forearm, right? If I control my collar and rotate my forearm, again, I have the flat part against his ankle. That's not good enough, right? So if I'm controlling my gi, I make sure that I turn and expose my radius bone against his Achilles, okay? And I can even test this if it's bothering him. What I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna carve on his ankle, okay? I'm gonna have my hand here in position. I'm gonna turn, I'm gonna have this part now against his Achilles tendon, and I'm gonna carve, I'm gonna lift it up, right? So just this motion here of rotating already causes pain on the guy, right? All I'm doing is this, finding the sweet spot here where the bone really connects against his Achilles tendon, right here, right? The more vertical my forearm is, the more painful it's gonna be against his ankle, okay? So just as a test, you guys can test it. We're not even talking about the legs now. Wrap, hand all the way up, middle of my forearm, as low to his Achilles tendon as possible. I'm gonna carve it, right? Carve it, lifting up, right? Right here, right when my arm is vertical, that's where I want to be to apply my submission. Alright guys, so now let's put together the Ashigarami position and my arm positioning for the ankle lock, okay? This is one of the most important parts of the whole series because everything else is going to be based on this. After I sweep the guy, I'm going to land on this position, ready to finish, okay? So again, I'm going to bite right here in the middle of my forearm, on his Achilles. My hand is up by my chest. I can hold my hand in a guillotine grip to keep my hand up. And I'm going to maneuver my legs, okay? For the demonstration here, I'm going to go to my elbow so I can maneuver my legs, okay? Ashigarami position, foot on his hip, door stopper on the far leg. I pinch my knees together, okay? We're gonna see first how to finish and then how to adjust, okay? Tight on his hip here with my foot, my knee biting on my ankle, right? I don't want the guy sitting up, trying to grab my lapel, trying to grab my neck. I'm keeping the guy there as I'm gonna go for the submission. Now, very, very important detail here. I'm in position, my arms are positioning well. I wanna drop on my side to drop body weight on top of his leg here, okay? But the way I'm gonna do that is not going forward. Because if I go forward, even though there is body weight, his ankle is not really tight against my body. So what I'm gonna do is, instead of going forward, I'm gonna drop my shoulder right here where my elbow is. So I'm gonna suck my elbow back. I'm gonna suck my elbow towards my ribs. Okay, that closes all this space here. So if I'm on my elbow, I drop my shoulder right here, suck my elbow back. He's already feeling a lot of pressure on his foot. It's folding his foot like this, okay? So as we talked before, it's a combination of the Achilles tendon and the dislocation of the ankle, okay? Later on, we're gonna add a twisting motion also, where it's gonna turn into a toe hold, right? It's not straight ankle lock, it's a twisting ankle lock, okay? So once I have my bite, go to my elbow. For demonstration purpose, later on when we get better at this, I don't even go to my elbow. I just suck straight back, okay? By now is the best way to learn and to practice. Go to your elbow, drop my shoulder right here where my elbow is. Suck everything back without dropping my hand. See that my hand is still by my chest. If my hand starts dropping, I pick it up. Guillotine grip helps me. Suck my elbow all the way back. I'm ready to go. How do I finish now? I'm going to start expanding my chest. Pop my chest up as I start looking back. Okay? It's a very short move. I'm going to use my whole torso here. Expand, pop my chest, look back for the tap. Okay? All I'm doing is suck my elbow back, pop my chest. So I'm using my core muscles here against his foot. I don't want to be curved in, right? I want to expand my chest as I look back to help me expand my chest. Drop my elbow all the way back. Expand, look back. I cannot arch my back enough if I'm looking at the guy here. I have to look back in order to have a nice range of motion there. So again, I got my bite right in between, hand up, secure my hand low on his Achilles. Go to my elbow so I can maneuver my legs. My legs are light now because my body weight's on my elbow. Adjust. Bite nice. Suck my elbow all the way back, dropping my shoulder where my elbow is. Already a lot of pressure. All my body weight's on top of his foot. Pop my chest, arch, look back. Important too. The way my hip is positioned here, right? It cannot be, I cannot have my hip too close to his hip. Because if my hip is too close to his hip, I'm gonna miss his ankle. Too close. And it cannot be too far, my hip too close to his foot. Because now I cannot even step on his hip there. So it has to be in between. It's going to vary a little bit on the length of his leg, of course, if he's a taller guy. But generally speaking, my hip is going to be by his knee area. Okay? I have to feel that I have captured that foot. Not too close, not too far. Also, when I'm applying my foot lock, for the same reason, if my hips are too close to his hips, I cannot even reach on his foot, right? What's my ankle lock? It's having my forearm here and bending his foot all the way down, right? So I'm using my shoulder here, my shoulder blade, my back to drive his foot down, his toes down, right? I'm low on his Achilles and high on his toes. Okay, when I go to my side, I try to drive his toes all the way back. Okay, I expand, arch, and as I arch, of course, I'm also using my hips. My hips, they move forward, but it's mostly my torso. My torso expanding and driving his toes back. What happens sometimes is the position, if your arm is not positioned in place, if you're rushing the technique, your hand starts going low, right? My forearm is on his calf. I rushed the position, okay? It's not properly adjusted. When I go for my foot lock, I have to spend a lot of energy here. I will have to arch way more than necessary because it's not really in position, okay? So that's how we're gonna finish most of people. Some people are really flexible on their foot and the ankle joint. So by the end of my motion, I'm gonna start turning almost belly down to put the twist on his foot, to turn more into a toe hold, okay? Again, this is not common, okay, for most people. Once I get into the position, everything is right, I suck my elbow, I arch everything, and he's still not tapping, he's very flexible, okay? I'm going to start turning, sucking this shoulder back, kind of going belly down. So I'm gonna put that twist on his foot. It's a sideways crunch. Okay? Always important to know. When you go all the way back, the guy is not tapping. That's your last resort there. Now you start turning belly down to put that twist on his foot. Alright, now let's take a look on how to adjust the ankle lock, okay? So I got everything right. I got my bite on his Achilles by the middle of my forearm. My hands are up towards my chest, so there's little space there. Let's maneuver my legs. I go to my elbow, maneuver my legs into the Ashigami position. And now, you will have to do this most of the time, okay? Because when you are shooting for your ankle lock, rarely it's gonna be perfectly like this, okay? Anytime I go for the ankle lock and my arm position is out of place, I will have to readjust, right? You're gonna see later, entry from the top, entry from the bottom, I will have to readjust for the most part, okay? So how I'm gonna do that? If my arm is here in the middle of his forearm, maybe it's too deep, maybe it's too shallow, right? All I'm gonna do is bringing back towards his Achilles and lifting up to get in the middle of my forearm, okay? So if my arm is in the kind of on his calf here, I go back, I'm gonna find his Achilles by his heel, and I go up. So I slide down all the way towards his heel. It's gonna stop on his heel, right? If I keep it, my forearm sliding here, it's gonna find his heel. Find his heel, lift it up. So when I find his heel, usually I'm gonna be on my wrist, right? My wrist against his Achilles. I wanna now bring the middle of my forearm, so I go up, okay? So I have here my position, on my elbow. It's not really good. My hand is low by my hip, it's by his calf, not good. If I try to finish right now, probably he won't tap, and I will have to spend a lot of energy here, okay? So what do? Disconnect my elbow from the mat. Back and up. Right there. Suck my elbow back now. I got his leg, not in the proper position. On his calf, my hand is low, everything is bad, okay? Adjust. Down and up. Now I don't let my hand drop anymore. Ashigarami, suck my elbow back, drop my shoulder where my elbow is. A lot of body weight on top of that foot. Pop my chest, arch, look back. And when I do that, don't forget, go back, up, and I have the sharp part of my bone there. I'm digging the sharp part of my bone on his Achilles. It's not flat, either here or here. Right on my radius bone, poking his Achilles. Alright, that's the adjustment. Now we're going to take a look on how to get into the ankle lock position, okay? From the top and later from the bottom position, which is going to be the single leg X guard, okay? There, we're going to see 2 or 3 different ways to get from the top position. The first one is the foundation, is the most important. It's probably the one that I'm going to use the most, okay? He's here playing his open guard, he's stepping on my hip, I'm trying to pass. You know that from the Ashigami position, one leg is in between and the other foot is over his hip, right? So I want to get into that position from here. So if he has both foot on my hip, I have to clear one foot first in order to bring my leg in between his legs. So what I'm going to do is clear, just open his ankle as I step my foot already hooking the far leg, right? So this foot here is going to be my door stopper. As I'm approaching, trying to pass his guard, I clear and step. The other hand now, I'm gonna bite his ankle, right? I wanna lower my level. I don't wanna bite from here where there is too much space. So I lower my level to get on his ankle, okay? It doesn't need, and it won't be perfectly on his Achilles, okay? I'm gonna adjust this later. So you can grab pretty much by the mid of his calf towards his ankle here. Anywhere is fine, okay? So one more time, I'm trying to pass. I open, step, bite, okay? Now this hand, the far hand that was controlling the other ankle is important. I wanna check his knee now, okay? Because one of his early defenses, as soon as I bite his ankle, he's gonna step that foot on the mat, escape, and then he frees his foot, right? If he turns his heel towards my ribs, it creates the angle for him to free his foot, right? With that little hip escape he does, he turns his heel towards my ribs and he's out. So to prevent that, I'm gonna cup his knee. So clear, step, bite, check. Now if he tries to hip escape and do the same stuff, he won't be able to turn his knee and his foot. And now I'm in position to start attacking. All I'm gonna do is sit down and shoot my foot on his hip. Right? I am in position, ankle lock. As we talked before, I will have to adjust this. Now that's the important part of the adjustment. You have to do this most of the time, okay? I can connect my hands together. I'm on my elbow. What I'm going to do, disconnect my elbow, forearm all the way back, up to bring my forearm right in the middle against his Achilles. And now I'm able to pinch my knees. My elbow, I'm going to suck back and drop my shoulder where my elbow is. Ankle lock is right there. Arch for the tap. Okay? So that's the most common entry. Let's take a look one more time here. And then some details on the finish. Clear, step, hooking the far leg, bite, lowering my level, check the knee. I'm gonna sit down and shoot my foot on his hip. Pinch my knees. Hand together. Adjust now. My forearm is on the middle of his calf. It's not good. My hand is too low on my hip. Pull back. Slide towards his heel. My hand up towards my chest. Middle of my forearm against his Achilles. I'm good to go. I'm on my elbow. Suck the elbow back. Pop my chest. Look back. When I do that, very important, very common mistake for the beginners. They start arching and they start dropping the hand here. It doesn't work, right? There is no pressure. Keep my hand all the way up. Suck my elbow. My hand doesn't move. Arch, look back for the tap, okay? Now, as we talked before, sometimes, just a review, yes, I can have my hand controlling my lapel here, okay? Some people like to control the far lapel, some people like to control the near lapel. It's okay. Also depends on the length of my arm here. Sometimes if I control the far lapel, my grip against his ankle gets too deep. So it's not on my forearm anymore, it's all the way deep here on my elbow, right? So that's why some people prefer the near lapel. But you have to find, depending on the length of your arm, depending on the length of his legs. The near lapel also I can get too close to my wrist, right? If my grip is too close to my wrist, if my wrist is close to his Achilles here, there is too much space. He has the opportunity to escape that foot, right? So that's why ideally I want it in the middle of my forearm. If I get close to my wrist, I need to make sure that I pinch before he frees that foot, right? And again, anytime I control my collar, doesn't matter if it's far or near lapel, I need to make sure that I don't rotate my wrist, right? If I get the flat part on his Achilles, it's not gonna work. So always, if you wanna control your lapel, keep your thumb up, sharp part of your radius against his Achilles tendon. That's how we're gonna finish. And if I'm controlling my lapel, I don't even need both hands, right? That's the advantage of controlling the lapel. My hand doesn't slide down. I can finish with one arm. The other one I can still check his knee here. Right? So that's the advantage. Good for the gi, of course. No gi, you don't have that luxury, so guillotine grip. Once you get good, no gi, one hand also. One hand is enough. Okay, I don't even need to connect my guillotine grip. Alright? Other common entries from the top position is by breaking his close guard, right? Doesn't matter the way you do it, but as soon as I break his close guard, I'm gonna pop my knee up, which is always a good idea to avoid his triangles, to start passing either to the side and knee slide to the side, right? As soon as I bring my knee up, stay here, usually he's gonna start to step on my hip or create separation. I'm already in position to snatch the ankle and go for my Ashigarami position, right? Ready to finish. Just step back, finish. The same from the standing passes. Standing, breaking his guard, my leg is already in between, snatch, ready in position. Adjust, step back, finish. Alright guys, so now let's take a look at some early counters for his defenses, okay? It's very common that when I'm, especially from the top position here, where we saw the entry, I clear his foot and throw my hook, bite his ankle, check his knee, right? Sometimes if I'm too slow or, I telegraph way too much, right? He's not gonna even let me get too close here with my knee, with my leg in between his leg. He's already gonna be pushing on my hip with his free leg. So I cannot get close enough, right? I'm too low here by his foot. I cannot even entangle my legs anymore, right? He defended earlier. Great defense, he timed it well. So instead of trying to insist here where there is nothing, I cannot even control his leg with my legs, I'm gonna just switch sides now, right? The foot that's stepping on my hip, I'm gonna snatch. I can even control both now, right? Now I'm gonna maneuver to the other side. I just change sides for my Ashigarami position. If he does the same, I'm already too close now, but if he still steps on my hip and pushes me away where it starts to disconnect my legs, I'm gonna snatch that again. Snatch that ankle, maneuver my legs. Now I am in position, right? Adjust, down, submit. The other scenario is when I get my ankle lock here from the standing position to anytime that I am in the Ashigarami position and he puts the boot on, right, as we saw in the bonus video, this is a temporary defense. Of course I'm gonna beat his foot eventually, but it might buy 2-3 seconds for him here and he's gonna start peeling off my foot and escaping as we saw before, right, on the bonus video. So what I'm going to do is make sure that my Ashigarami is tight. So now I have time to deal with his boot, right? If my Ashigarami is loose, he can peel off my foot and start escaping. So if he escapes, then we're going to go for the tripod ankle lock. We're going to see later, but right now I don't want that to happen. He puts the boot on, I cannot finish. Make sure my Ashigarami is tight. I'm going to disconnect my elbow from the mat. And I'm gonna shimmy my shoulders, right? What I'm doing is trying to find his toes here. I'm gonna start pushing down, right? He cannot stop my whole body with his foot, right? Maybe if I just go extending like this, he has more time. But as soon as I start shimmying and fighting those toes, I'm gonna extend his foot and beat the boot. So again, I am on my ankle lock position. He puts the boot on, he starts working on my foot here. Make sure it's tight. Lift my elbow up, shimmy, I beat the boot. Elbow, suck my elbow back, I'm in position, okay? Let's take a look now on how to go for the tripod ankle lock when the guy starts defending by peeling off my foot, okay? That's a very common defense. There's two common defenses. The first one is this one, where he peels off my foot. The second one is when he tries to stand up. If he stands up, you're gonna see later with the single leg X what to do, how to sweep and how to finish. But right now, he's executing a classic defense. I have my ankle lock, Gami position, and he's gonna do the same defense that we saw during the bonus video, okay? He's gonna step out, moving his hip past my leg. At this point, I have no power source anymore. I have nothing to push up his hip. Alright, so my ankle lock here, I can try as much as I can, but he just is gonna keep walking around and there's nothing to stop him. Right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna follow up with my tripod as he escapes. See that this hand here is preventing me from going belly down. So I will have to break this grip here. Okay? Sometimes he does a poor defense. I have my ankle lock here, and instead of using this hand to peel my foot, he's going to use this hand, which is more comfortable because he can base off his left hand. So now if he tries to hop over, there is nothing controlling this knee, I'm going to start going belly down immediately. Right? How I'm going to finish this? So how I'm going to finish this? I'm going to drive my knee towards the ground, and the hook that was hooking the outside leg is going to hook this near leg here. Okay? I'm going to be in a tripod position, forehead and both knees on the mat. I can use this hand here to throw and land on my tripod position. Most important thing here is the arm that's controlling his foot. I want to bring my elbow all the way up, sucking against my ribs, just like we did on the standard ankle lock, right? I'm going to be on my forehead here. I can connect my hands together in a guillotine grip. I'm going to suck my elbow up towards my ribs. Right? That locks the ankle in place. There is no space for his ankle to move. And important here too, the alignment of my knees and my hip. See that I want to have his knee past my knee, and I want to have my hip past his knee. So it's my knee, his knee, and my hip. That's the final position here. Tripod, the other foot is on the mat in between his legs. This hook here is hooking his leg. So I keep him in place. I push off against his hip as well. Elbows up. My shoulders are completely parallel against the mat. I'm not touching either shoulder. I'm not choosing any side. I'm parallel. All I'm going to do is slide forward, dropping my hip down to get belly down ankle lock or tripod ankle lock. Let's take a look here again. So I have my standard ankle lock here with my Gami position. He peels off my foot. I break his grip. Go belly down in a tripod position. I'm still hooking his leg with my foot here. Connect my hands together. Shoulders completely parallel against the mat. Suck my elbow here. This is the most important detail here. Okay? If I don't suck my elbow up towards my ribs, there is too much space. Suck it up. I'm going to start driving my hip towards the ground for the ankle lock. Okay? There are some variations that I can do with this foot here that's in between his legs. Once he steps out, I can also throw my foot to the outside and step on his hip here. Alright, so that's my power source. I'm stepping on his hip, my other leg also catching his leg here, next to his butt. That's where I'm gonna push off for my ankle lock. Or this foot is hooking as we saw before. That's my power source there. I keep the guy in place as I apply my foot lock, okay? That's by far my favorite method of finishing the belly down ankle lock. Some people, you can try this. I'm not, he's very good at this at one hand, but it's not my favorite one. I prefer the tripod position. But you can try and see which one you like the most, okay? So as he peels my foot and walk around, instead of tripoding up, I'm gonna post my hand. And I'm gonna arch my back. It's very, very strong too. Same stuff with this elbow here. Suck all the way towards my back, right? And I'm gonna arch my back, posturing up. Very devastating foot lock. You can try both, see which one you like the most, but both are very effective. Another scenario now is the guy executing the same escape, peeling off my foot and walking around, but he controls my gi, right? Very common scenario with the gi. So it's actually not the best defense, you're gonna see why, but it's very common. I have my Gami, I have my ankle lock position, and he controls my lapel, okay? Sometimes he's gonna control the bottom lapel, sometimes the top lapel. The bottom lapel is the best option for him because it doesn't let me extend my body and arch my back, right? Compared to this one where I have more movement. But anyways, he's gonna try to do the same stuff, but he's not controlling my knee, so there is nothing stopping me from going belly down. So I'm on my ankle lock here trying to extend, he's holding himself. As soon as he tries to step up, I'm gonna go belly down. There's nothing controlling my knee. I just make sure that I drive my knee really next to his hip here, where from now I can put pressure on his hip and start arching on my tripod position here. I'm gonna finish anyways, right? There's nothing stopping me there. Sometimes the guy even control both hands on the same lapel or both hands on each lapel, right? Here is very hard to finish. I cannot arch my back, right? But he's not escaping either if he has both hands on my lapel. Eventually, I will be able to break one of these grips, or he's gonna try to push my foot off his hip, right? And then I'm gonna go for the belly down. No big deal. Alright guys, I can also use the tripod ankle lock as my first option, okay? I don't need necessarily to combo with the standard ankle lock. So let's say the guy is playing his De La Riva guard here. De La Riva, nice hook on my leg, controlling my sleeve, but this foot stepping on my thigh here is in danger, right? So all I'm gonna do is snatch the ankle there, and I'm not even worrying about the De La Riva hook here. I'm gonna go straight and drive my knee between his legs towards the mat. I shoot my hand forward, stepping my knee on the mat, and I'm already in the tripod position here. Elbow up, slide my hip down for the finish. Also, another entry for the tripod ankle lock, when I'm trying to go for my knee slide pass, and the guy is stopping me here with his foot on my hip, I'm having a hard time to knee slide, the foot is already here. When I wrap it, drive my hand down, tripod position for the finish. Ideally, I wanna control his ankle and do it in one motion, right? As I'm sliding down, I'm already going forward for the finish, giving him less time, right? What I'm trying to say is, I'm going for my knee slide pass, I snatch, instead of stopping here, adjusting everything, giving him the chance to escape, I'm doing all in one motion. Knee slide pass, wrap, sliding. Okay? Now we're going to take a look at the knee torque submission, okay? It's not common, we're not gonna do this very often because when I go ankle lock, belly down, most of the time I'm gonna tap my opponent. But sometimes he's very flexible or I just can't find a nice grip. So I'm gonna go to see some options now. The knee torque or top half guard, transition to honey hole, different options there, okay? Okay, so we are on the same position here. I got my ankle lock position. Gami, he's doing a good defense and escaping. I'm gonna combo with my tripod ankle lock. Right? At this moment, maybe he's too flexible. Maybe I don't find a nice grip here. And I got stuck in this position, he's not tapping. Okay? So I'm gonna start changing the game a little bit. All I'm gonna do is pulse my hand. I'm gonna free the leg that's in between his legs. Stepping and sitting on top of the guy here, okay? So once I get into this position here, my first option is trying to work on this leg here, right? All I'm gonna do is check his knee and start bringing his foot towards his head, right? It's a knee torque or sometimes it's also gonna feel on his hip, okay? A combination of both. I push it towards my foot and bring his foot towards his head. It's a nasty submission here, right? I just need to make sure that I have a nice bite on his ankle here, so it makes harder for him to figure for his legs, right? If he figure for his legs, then I cannot drive his foot towards his head anymore, right? So a nice bite close to the Achilles tendon as it was supposed to be, so there is less space for him to figure for his legs. So my knee torque is my first option. Of course, illegal under IBJJF, right? If you're playing IBJJF rules, instead of going to the knee torque, you can go to the inverted half guard. I'm already here, right? I come on top from the tripod, come on top, switch my arms. The other one, I'm gonna control his head and start passing my reverse half guard here. Another option is knee torque. I'm gonna transition to the Oshiro Ashigarami as we saw in the guide for the main leg lock positions. Make sure you check out the video, the bonus video. I'm gonna go for a knee bar here, switch my arms again. Oshiro Ashigarami knee bar. Third option would be still initial position. Switch my arms and let's go for the honey hole or saddle. Right? I'm already here pretty much. Switch my arms, drop this knee towards his hip. We're gonna see a little more details in the assist sweep video, but my goal is dropping my knee towards his hip, figuring for my legs, and now I'm isolating this leg here, right? If I pinch my knees tight, I'm isolating his femur. I can start working on my heel hooks here, if it's not under IBJJF rules. Or there's many options. I can attack the far leg too, right? Start bringing close to me. Texas clover lift, finish, ankle lock, finish. A lot of options from here, but we just transition into the honey hole position. Now let's take a look at the second portion of this video course, okay? The single leg X guard. The single leg X guard is going to be very useful when the guy tries to stand up to defend my ankle lock, okay? Very common defense. Two main defenses again. One, he's going to peel off my foot and walk around, where I'm going to go to my belly down ankle lock or the knee torque submission and options. The second situation is as I go for my ankle lock, he tries to stand up. Very common defense. If he's standing up and stomping his foot on the mat, there is no angle for the ankle lock, right? So we are here. I'm attacking his leg, right? Attacking his ankle, just the same way. He times well and stands up, okay? So we are on this situation here, right? I want to keep my legs just as they were, right? The ashigarami position. This is also called ashigarami or single leg X guard. Single leg X guard when the guy is standing, okay? My primary goal here is taking the guy down with a sweep and going back to the ankle lock, okay? We're gonna see what to do when he starts peeling my foot off and some options to sweep. But right now, I wanna have my same leg entanglement here. The only thing that's gonna change is for the ashigarami when I'm on the ground, remember that I have my foot hooking the far leg, right? For the single leg X guard, my foot's gonna be hooking the near leg, right? Which is gonna help me to sweep the guy. When we are on the ground, my foot on the near leg is dangerous because he can pull my heel towards his hip and catch me with a heel hook there, right? But from the single leg X, that's not a problem because if he goes for my heel, I just kick my leg through, right? Let's take a look here. So once we are on the ashigarami, if he pulls my, and I'm hooking the near leg, if he pulls my heel towards his hip, I'll have to tap, right? And I cannot kick it through because I'm gonna hit the mat, right? There is no space. But if we are standing up in the single leg X there, now if he tries to attack my heel, I just kick my leg through, no problem, right? So controlling the near leg with my hook, my other foot still on his hip, and I wanna have my hips off the mat, right? That's very important. If my hips are on the mat, I cannot pinch my knees together. So his leg is not really under control. I wanna lift my hips up and pinch my knees together. Now I'm controlling that leg and I'm ready to start sweeping the guy, okay? So I'm gonna use the single leg X guard not only when the guy comes up after I attack his ankle lock, but I can also enter from the guard position, from the bottom. So anytime I'm playing my guard, I can try to go to the single leg X guard, okay? So let's say here, some common entries, okay? I have my butterfly guard here. I'm ready to sweep the guy. I control his arm, I'm ready to go for my butterfly sweep. But he knows that, he's gonna pose his left leg to defend the sweep. So as I'm going for the sweep, I'm gonna snatch the ankle. Move my body under, and I have my single leg X guard here. Sometimes the guy is gonna still stay on his knee there. This is also single leg X guard. You're gonna see what you do from here, but the most common situation is when the guy is standing up, okay? Another common entry is from the double unders butterfly, right? Butterfly, double under, I'm gonna just lift the guy up using a rocking chair motion here. I'm already again in the single leg X guard. One of the most common entries now, especially for no gi, is the shin on shin guard, right? Because when the guy is standing up, with the gi, once I control his sleeve or collar, then I can put my back in the mat and start playing my guard, right? But no gi, I don't have those grips, so I don't want to be on my back here trying to work like this because it's gonna pass my guard or even attack my leg, right? So I always want to be sitting up and ideally with both feet here in between his legs, right? Anytime he has one leg in between my legs, again, he can attack my foot or he can start going for passes. So I have both feet on the inside. And that's my shin on shin guard, right? Shin on shin. It's pretty much a butterfly hook. And once I establish my shin on shin guard, I'm gonna lock around his knee here. And I'm gonna go to kind of a butterfly sweep. I'm gonna elevate his leg as I go to my side. And I'm gonna slide my leg all the way through to the single leg X guard, right? So I lock on the guy here. I'm gonna go for a butterfly sweep. I shoot my leg through, and I have my single leg X guard. Some variations there. This is not really the topic of this video, but once I get here, as he tries to push my head or do something, if I can control that sleeve and pass here, I control his collar, and now it's really a butterfly sweep, right? I'm gonna come on top, bring the guy down, lift it up, just sweep. So many options from that shin on shin guard. So another very common situation, very similar, okay? From my shin on shin guard, he has a nice base here. If he's pointing his knee to the inside, kind of trying to go to a knee slice pass, the best option is going for that butterfly ankle. Right? But sometimes his knee is neutral, it's not crossing in, or he's even trying to open the knee to the outside. Okay? In that case, I can just shoot under. Right? I shoot under and get my single leg X guard. Now, two very common entries with the gi. Okay, we're gonna play spider guard and de la riva guard. So let's say I'm playing my spider guard here. Spider, I'm stepping on his hip. The foot that's stepping on his hip, or if I have double spider, I'm gonna choose one foot to step on the mat. And all I'm gonna do is push off the mat, lift my hip, trying to drive the guy into this direction here, okay, over this shoulder, making him step closer to me. As he steps closer, snatch the ankle, switch to my single leg X guard. Common entry from the de la riva guard is I have my de la riva hook here, I'm controlling his ankle, I'm stepping on his thigh, right? So I'm gonna kick him away with the leg that's stepping on his thigh, and I'm gonna twist his ankle. I'm gonna bring his heel towards my head, okay? As I stretch him out. So I kick him, push his leg away, twist his heel on the inside, okay? So his knees pointing down towards the mat now, which makes it easier for me to swing my leg under and adjust my single leg X guard. So after I get into the single leg X guard, my primary option is sweeping my opponent and going straight for that ankle lock submission, okay? There are different ways we can do that. The most common is the standard sweep. Let's take a look here. Now it doesn't matter if I was playing my guard and got into the single leg X guard, or I was on top, went for the ankle lock and he came up, right? We're gonna land in the single leg X anyways, right? And also a tip for you, if you find the entries too complicated, if you find hard to play the single leg X guard from the bottom, now I would say go from the top, attack the foot, go down, and let the guy stand up so you can start practicing the single leg X, okay? You're gonna be already in position once you fall down, and then you can start testing the sweeps, testing the control to feel comfortable, and then eventually you're gonna find the entries from the bottom, and you already have a nice pinch single leg X guard where you can start working your options, okay? So I'm here on the single leg X guard. Nice bite, nice leg entangle, ashigarami on his legs here. Hip off the mat to put pressure on his leg, okay? Again, my hip down here, it's not helping me. I cannot even pinch my knees together, right? Hip up, lock, everything tight. And the arm that's around his ankle, I keep the same as I was attacking the ankle lock. I can even now take my time and control my collar if I want to, just to make sure that his foot is strapped, right? The single leg X is a very hard guard to pass because his foot is strapped here, right? It's very hard. One of his options is trying to free my foot. We're gonna see later what to do, but if he doesn't free my foot, he's gonna get stuck here, right? Now, basic sweep. All I'm gonna do is lift my hip up as high as I can towards his hip, and I'm gonna twist my knees down towards the mat, okay? I lift it up and twist. And now I'm here on the ankle lock position. As we talked before, sometimes I don't even need to stay on my elbow, adjust, and then go back, right? As the guy is falling and I'm coming up, I adjust. I don't need to touch my elbow. I adjust, suck back, up, and I'm going straight here on my shoulder. Okay, that's more effective, one less step, right? So as I come on top, instead of staying here on my elbow, adjusting and dropping back to my elbow, I adjust and suck my elbow all the way back already. Boom, I'm ready to finish, okay? The best moment to submit the guy is as he's falling and I'm gonna crank that foot, okay? He's fighting for his balance and I have time to ankle lock, and that's by far the most effective way to get the ankle lock. When I'm on top, trying to pass, latch on the ankle, he can see coming, he has more time to defend and prepare his defenses. But on his way down, he's only focused on defending his fall. That's when I'm gonna be adjusting and submitting the guy, okay? So let's take a look here again. Single leg X guard. I get into the position. Basic sweep. I'm gonna lift my hip up and twist my knee. There's some details here with the gi. The one that I just demonstrated is very no gi like, right? But with the gi, if I can control this sleeve, it's gonna help me because he always is trying to free my foot, right? Peel off my foot. So if I'm controlling that sleeve, I already make it harder for him. Plus, he cannot post this hand when he's falling, right? Because that's common too. As I sweep, he's gonna try to post that hand and try to come back up, right? So if I kill that hand, things are much easier for me now by controlling the sleeve. Hip up, twist my knees, a nice torque, adjust, I'm back, ready to submit. Okay, so now some little variations here from the same sweep, okay? Sometimes the guy has a better base, better balance. I will have to create an action, reaction in order to sweep the guy. Okay, very simple stuff. So we are here, single leg X guard. I have my position. And all I'm gonna do is, if I'm trying to go straight to the sweep, yeah, it works maybe 80% of the time. It's very, very high percentage. Right? But sometimes the guy has a better balance, better base. Maybe as I sweep, he steps his right foot back and he finds his balance. So what I'm gonna do is just create action reaction now. I'm gonna actually turn him that way first, right? I point my knees towards the black wall. As he comes back, I sweep, right? Action reaction here. Also, I can use the foot here in between his legs, right? I can use almost like a reverse de la Riva guard. So I'm gonna use this hook here to drive the guy towards my head. As he goes back, I go for the sweep, right? Again, I land here, immediately adjust, suck back, ready to finish. Another option now, if you guys are not playing by the IBJJF rules, I want to try heel hooks and stuff, I'm gonna do that same rotation towards the black wall to expose his heel. So, single leg X guard. I'm gonna twist my knees that way, right? When I do that, I expose his heel. His heel comes off the mat. I'm gonna latch on and start working my heel hook. Now I have to modify. I'm already modifying the hook that was in between his legs, right? I'm hooking the far leg now because I know he wants to keep rotating that way. So that's my door stopper, ready to start working my heel hooks here. So now we're going to take a look at a different sweep when the first one doesn't work. Maybe the guy has better balance, a better base, and I'm not able to take the guy down, okay? It's going to be very similar. I'm going to just switch my arms, which is going to give me a little more power and torque over his leg and hip, okay? So you're starting here with the same position. I already got my single leg X position here. My arm is wrapped around his ankle. I'm ready to take him down and go for the ankle lock. But as I try to do the previous sweep, He has a better base, maybe he steps back, I just cannot complete the sweep. So what I'm going to do is switch my hands here. I'm going to have now my left hand controlling his ankle, and I'm going to free this arm here. Okay? See that with the original sweep, when I go for the sweep, this shoulder gets a little stuck here because I'm controlling his leg here, right? When I switch my arm, this shoulder becomes more free. So I can actually almost go to my elbow here. I'm going to do the same motion. I'm going to lift my hip, twist my knees and hip, but now I get a better range of motion here. I almost go belly down. And now I'm going to land on this position here with his foot here on the outside. Okay? My first option is wrapping his foot again and going for the ankle lock. Right? Still great option. I'm going to adjust and do the same finish that we just did. Sometimes with the gi, it's not that easy because as I start switching here, my hand gets caught on my own gi, maybe gets on the inside, and that could, precious moment here, he could escape, right? If it comes up while I'm trying to thread my arm here, we go back to the single leg X. As I'm trying to shoot his arm, if he peels my foot and start walking around, I'm going to control his pants here, technical stand-up, and I'm going to start passing his guard. Right? I keep, as I landed here, I keep the hand that was controlling his ankle, that's the hand I'm going to control his leg. Right? If I use my other hand, now this hand is busy, it's hard for me to post, I can get stuck here. So, same hand, my free hand now posts, and do a technical stand-up, ready to start passing. That's first option. We have 4 options here. I just took the guy down, my hand's still there. Second option, I'm going to cross his foot to the other side of my body here. Now cross and lock on his knee. Okay? I control his knee tight. My forearm is also touching my leg and it's completely flushed against his leg. It's good, nice control here. All I'm going to do is come on top to the leg drag position, driving my knee in between his legs. Okay? Post my legs, start driving, control the lapel, control under here the arm to control his neck, and I am in a leg drag position. It's a very good pass. I hit this pass in the 2012 World Snow Gi, my second match. I learned this sweep. I call this sweep the Assis sweep. I learned from the great João Assis in one of his seminars. I've been using ever since. Third option here. As I take the guy down, I'm also going to cross his leg, but now I'm going to use this arm to wrap his ankle. When I cross to the other side, I can even help with this hand here to fit to my hand. And now we call this position the top side Ashigayami. His leg is on the top side of my body, right? We have 2 different ankle locks from here. We're going to see in the next clip how to finish. It's a little different than the regular straight ankle lock that we have been doing. The last option is now you can start working, give you the option to modify to different positions and start working your leg lock in. So as I drop the guy down here, I cross his leg again into that same leg drag position, lock his knee. I'm ready to get up and go for the leg drag. But if I want to explore different leg entanglements here, this is a perfect setup for the honey hole. All I'm going to do is shoot my leg in between. And now I am in the honey hole position. My knee on the mat next to his hip. I'm going to figure 4 my leg. My hook, my left hook here, hooks his leg, so it makes it harder for him to roll towards his left side, towards his right side, sorry. And it's also hard for him to turn into me because his knee is off the mat, right? That's the purpose of this his bottom leg here. So with this control, there are many options. This is actually not knee ripping position. Knee ripping would be if his ankle was on the other side of my arm here, right? That's knee ripping. The honey hole is not considered knee ripping, but it might be considered illegal to attack his legs here under the IBJJF rules. But the primary attack from the honey hole is my inverted heel hook here, right? There is also other options that you guys can start exploring, which are not as damaging, but safer to practice in your gym, which is, I'm gonna start, most of the time once I start messing up with his leg here, he's gonna try to kick my arm free or crisscross his foot so there is no heel hook here. So I can start attacking the far leg now. I'm gonna thread my arm here between his feet. I'm gonna drive his shin bone against his ankle. I'm gonna ankle lock the far leg using his near leg. Grab next to his Achilles tendon just like a regular ankle lock. Gable grip, I'm gonna start driving against his own leg. Okay? A little twist, kind of I'm going belly down to work the submission here. I might have to step on his hip also to secure the guy. Okay, this is just, you know, options for you if you want to start exploring other positions besides the Ashigara. Alright? Let's take a look now on how to finish from the top side Ashigarami, okay? So I just sweep the guy with the assist sweep, and I'm leaning on this position here. I'm gonna cross his foot to the other side, lock my top side Ashigarami, making sure that his leg is really pinched and under control. And all I'm gonna do is drive my knee towards the ground to go for the foot crunch, or it's almost like a toe hold, right? Important, I'm gonna adjust my grip here. It's really hard to finish the ankle lock here because of the angle. So I don't want anymore the middle of my forearm against his Achilles tendon. I'm gonna go all the way deep and have my elbow, right? I want right here next to my elbow joint against his ankle. All the way low also towards his heel. And I'm gonna drive my knee towards the ground. I'm gonna come here, post my leg. So now this leg is heavy against the mat, right? Pinning his leg down. I'm gonna turn that way, so I'm gonna twist his foot. It's a very nasty submission here, right? I'm just twisting his foot this way, like a toe hold, right? The other option from this position, I'm not gonna drive my knee to the ground, I'm gonna stay here, but I'm gonna also adjust my grip. So I'm gonna have right in the middle of his, where the calf connects with the soleus muscle here, right? Right in the middle of his leg, right here. That's where I want my forearm to be, right? This is not gonna be a ankle lock, it's gonna be a shin crunch, right? So if I was up here, after the sweep, after I pass through that side of my arm, I go down low and I find right where where the calf connects with the soleus muscle. And I'm gonna do pretty much the same motion, right? Now I have the middle of my forearm instead of my elbow, and I'm gonna turn this way. I just kind of bend his shin in half, right? Seems like it's gonna break his shin in half, right? Nasty submission too. So again, after the assist sweep, I switch, cross, and if I get right here in the middle of his shin, I'm ready to go, right? I just turn that way, putting a lot of pressure on his shin, all right? Third option now to sweep the guy, okay? He has a nice balance. First and second option do not work, and he's starting to peel off my foot, so I have to act immediately, right, before he backsteps or go to the mount. We're gonna see later how to counter that if he does it, but Right now, we are here on the single leg X guard again. He's standing. Same position. And, you know, as soon as I'm trying to sweep and he defends, I go to the assist sweep, he defends. Nice balance. And he starts messing up with my foot here. You know, I will have to change my leg position. I don't want him opening up my foot and now my legs are tangling here. He's gonna either go to the mount or he's gonna back step, right? So I have to act immediately here. I'm losing my leg positioning. I'm gonna start transitioning now to the modified X guard. The regular X guard, these are under his leg and his leg is over my shoulder. So this is modified X guard, right, from my single leg X guard. So I have my hooks here. Let's just turn this way here a little. So I am in my modified X guard, foot controlling the hip here, the other foot behind his knee, right? That's my control. I just switched from the single leg X guard to modified X guard, right? I want to control by the knee again and control by his hip. Making a hook in my feet like this, right? That's my control. I cannot have my foot extended, otherwise there is no control over his leg. Hook his leg nice here. So now, from this position here, I can also sweep him, right? All I'm gonna do is go for a tripod sweep. So I'm controlling his hip, the foot that's behind his knee, I'm gonna slide towards his ankle. I'm good to go. I'm gonna kick this leg here towards the mat, and the foot that's on his ankle, I'm gonna kick forward. As soon as he falls, I'm gonna try to work that ankle lock. I'll have to maneuver my legs. Let's take a look at this. Let's do it slow first. Sweep the guy. I'm on my elbow so I can maneuver my legs to the Ashigarami position. Adjust. Finish. One more time here. Let's get this angle. I'm on this single leg X position. He starts messing up with my foot peeling off. Modified X guard. Okay, very simple. Slide my foot towards his ankle, kick his hip towards the ground. As he falls, I'm on my elbow here, so my body weight's on my elbow, I can move my legs. Under and around. I'm good to go. Adjust if necessary. Suck back. Finish. Alright, now let's take a look at how to transition to the regular X guard, okay, and X guard sweep. So I'm here on my single leg X guard, he's peeling off my foot, I'm going to the modified X, okay? And he already feels that he's off balance and he feels that I'm going to sweep him that way. So he's going to post his hands on the mat in order to counter that, right? And now it's impossible to do that, he's sliding to his ankle here, I'm not going to sweep the guy, all his body weight on this side. So, if my foot was already on his ankle, I go back up and have my regular position with my foot here. I'm going to transition to the regular X guard. So I control his knee here, so he doesn't kick his leg back as I switch my arms. The arm that's around his ankle, I'm going to shoot under, and I'm going to bring his leg over my shoulder. Once I bring his leg over my shoulder, now I am in the regular X guard. I'm controlling here his kneecap. I don't want him dropping his knee towards my chest. It might be harder for me to sweep him like that. But anyways, if he drops his knee towards my chest, you can always attack a toe hold here. But I try to avoid that by peeling off his kneecap this way, right? Regular X guard sweep, I push off his legs here, I extend my legs, and I'm gonna go to my free hand. So, kicking away, post my free hand. Now I do a technical stand-up. His foot is already off the mat, All his body weight is on his right foot and hands. Pause my foot, technical stand up, come on top. Just one detail here on my arm switching, okay? I control his knee, and again, if his knee is not touching on my body here, I have plenty of space to just dig my arm under, okay? If his knee is touching my body here, I can go for that toe hold, or instead of swinging my arm here, I have to find and go through his ankle first, and then I have his leg over my shoulder. Now same sweep, right? Kicking away, pulls my hand, come on for this sweep. Okay guys, now another option from the X guard, okay? I'm going for my regular sweep, but I can't quite kick the guy away and sit up. So I'm gonna try to take his back, okay? Combo. So we are here starting again from the single leg X guard. Let's go over, a recap here. Single leg X guard, start spinning off my foot. Modified X guard, okay? From here, I'm gonna try to go for my tripod sweep. But as I do that, he recognizes, he poses his hands on the mat, switching, shifting his body weight. Okay? I cannot go the tripod anymore. So I transition to my regular X guard. Foot from the ankle goes back to the knee. I'm here. Cup his knee so he doesn't kick his leg back. I'm gonna swing my arm on the inside. Going for my regular X guard now. Sweep. I'm gonna kick him away. Trying to get up. It's too heavy. But I at least disconnected his foot from the mat. So this leg is a little lighter. The other one's way heavier, right? All his body weight is on his right leg. I'm gonna duck my head under his leg and go to his back. So I'm gonna use this hand here to assist. Control my forearm here, or my bicep. Lift his leg and duck my head under. Controlling both ankles here. Okay, I'm already on his back. From this position, I'm gonna reach for his belt or his pants here. I'm gonna bring him down and extend my legs. Going to his back. Sit belt. Get both hooks. I'm fine. Very common escape from the single leg X guard is him trying to peel off my legs, my foot, and step straight to the mount, okay? Let's see how we deal with that. So starting again with my single leg X. And as soon as he starts opening my legs, of course, my first option is going to that modified X. But I'm too late, or he's too fast, he's doing a good job, and he steps to the mount, right? See that this is not really a very solid mount because it's hard for him to touch this knee on the mat, right? I'm grabbing his ankle here. So all I have to do is first not panic. It's not the end of the world. He's not even as heavy on me because this knee is off the mat, right? All I'm gonna do is breach and reinsert my legs. I don't want to let go his ankle at this moment because if I let go his ankle, he's gonna establish the mount. Alright, so with that ankle control, I'm gonna breach against his hip, throwing him that way as I frame his leg. I frame his leg now, giving space for my legs, okay? Just recovered my Ashigami from the mount position, or that not so good mount. Let's take a look now on how to sweep the guy after he goes to the mount position and I reinsert my Ashigarami, okay? So we are on the position here. Again, he's doing a good job. I'm too late. He peels my leg and goes straight to the mount. Reach, frame, reinsert, right? Of course, if he stands up now, I go again to my regular single leg X guard. But if he stays here, it's hard to sweep the guy with my standard sweep, trying to drive the guy this way here because he's so heavy on that side, on the right side of his body, right knee, and his hands are on the mat, that it's going to be really hard for me to drive him this way. So what I'm going to do is go again to that modified X guard. The foot, the top, the hook that's hooking the top leg here, I'm going to slide down towards his knee, and I get my foot on his hip, right? Modified X guard. Now I don't need to switch to my regular X guard here, getting my arm on the inside because he's so heavy on that side that I just extend my legs. I'm going to be able to sit up. His foot's almost disconnecting from the mat already if I just lift my arm. So I push him away, go to my hand, technically stand up, and now I can decide I'm going to pass or I'm going to go straight back to the ankle lock. Since the whole series is based on the ankle lock, Gami, ankle lock, finish. Okay guys, so last option of this series. He's gonna peel my leg and he's gonna backstep. Okay, we saw already going to the mount is not really a problem. Backstepping, I should be able to recover my single leg X guard. Okay, so let's take a look here. It's a very common way to get rid of my single leg X, right? It's either going to the mount or backstepping. So in order to do that, he will have to clear both of my feet. Okay, if he just clears the foot that's on his hip and tries to backstep, I can still catch his leg with my hook, right? So in order to do that, he has to drive my hook towards my butt and clear the foot from his hip. It's a lot to do before I can go to the modified X, but that's it's a common defense, right? So as he does that and backsteps, first thing I need to do is stiff arm here on his chest and frame, so I don't let him drop his knee on my chest in this kind of reverse knee on stomach. Now things could be a little harder for me to recover the single leg X, but if I'm framing the guy here and I don't let him drop his chin on my stomach, I have two options. I can recover the single leg X with either leg. Right now, he's still controlling the leg that was the hook, so I'm going to recover with this one first. Throw on his hip, and now I can force myself into the single leg X. If he backsteps and lets go the foot that was hooking him, I can hook his leg and then recover my single leg X. Okay? Hi guys, Professor Gustavo here. Today let's take a look on a mount escape combo. Okay, I'm going to be adding this technique to the members area of the Ace of Escapes. Some people are asking me what to do when he defends the bridge escape posting his hand. Okay, I did include this in the original version, but some people are sending me questions through email or Facebook. So let's go over here. I'm sure it's going to be useful for you guys. So he has the mount here. And I'm gonna go, with my basic bridge escape when the guy tries to choke me here, as we saw in the course. So defend the choke, block his elbow, work my legs here, trapping the same side leg and having my other leg in between his feet. Right? Now I'm controlling arm and leg, I'm gonna bridge. So what's common here is he has this free arm here and he's gonna post in order to defend the bridge. Okay, we saw in the course that one of my options is, as he posts, all I'm going to do is keep walking. Since his hands are going to be heavy on the mat with his body weight, if I keep walking I might be able to come on top. So still do my basic bridge here, defense, I don't stop and I keep walking, and his hand gets stuck on the mat with his body weight, it's harder for him to move as I come on top. So that's a great option that we saw during the course, but let's add a variation here because sometimes he has a nice post or he keeps reposting and it's hard to come on top. Right? So in that scenario, look what happens here. As he posts and realizes that I cannot walk anymore, see that his knee is off the mat. My hand is still controlling his arm here, so my elbow is going to check his hip to keep his hip in place. And all I'm going to do now is hip escape towards his knee that's off the mat. Hip escape, and I shoot to my single leg axle. Okay? So again, mount position. He goes for the choke, I defend the choke. Footwork, checking the outside leg. I'm gonna bridge and he's gonna post. I try to insist, he keeps reposting, it's hard to come on top. Framing his hip here with my elbow to keep him in place as I hip escape. Leg goes in between, the other goes on his hip. I wrap his ankle, and I have my single leg X guard here. If you guys bought the Ashigarami Fundamentals course, you know that from this position I have two options. If the guy is straight up like this, I can drop him down and start working my foot lock. Most likely he's going to be heavy on this side, so I cannot sweep him on this way. So I will modify to my X guard, push him away, do my technical stand up, either start passing or attacking his foot again. One important detail here for the mount escape is that I have to time it well, right? As I breach and he defends, I cannot now drop my hip down and try to hip escape because his knee is touching the mat already. So as I am breaching up, I keep my hip up and then I escape to transition to the single leg axle. Don't drop your hip and try to hip escape. Hi guys, Professor Gustavo here. Today let's take a look on how to defend the ankle lock. Early defense, okay? More like a prevention, okay? So we know that in order for the guy to go to the ankle lock, he has to wrap my ankle first, right? It's gonna wrap my ankle, and the goal today is defending right now before the guy jumps on my leg and start going for the Ashigarami position here, okay? If the guy stays here, you guys already know what to do. I released a video maybe 2 months ago. I'm gonna put a link somewhere here. Also, the technique from today is gonna be added to the members area if you bought the Ashigarami Fundamentals course, okay? So now let's take a look here. Prevention, he wrapped my foot before he jumps on my leg. What I'm gonna do? The idea is trying to turn my heel towards his ribs, okay? In order to extract my foot out, right? If I just try to pull like this, it's not gonna come out. So I'm gonna get an angle here. The foot that's stepping on the mat, I'm gonna use to hip escape, and I'm gonna point my knee down, driving my heel against his ribs. Okay, that's the angle to free my foot. One more time, very simple. Okay, he wrapped around my ankle, he's ready to jump on my leg. Before than that, step, hip escape, driving my knee towards the ground, which points my heel up and my toes down. Okay, from there I extract my foot. One more time, very simple. Step, hip escape, point knee down, extract my foot. What happens sometimes too is the guy has a cross grip. Right? He might use a cross grip to still foot lock me, which is a strong foot lock, or use it to transition to the honey hole, or even go to a leg drag pass. With this cross grip, the idea is the same. I still want to turn my heel towards the guy's ribs. So how do I do that? I have to turn away. I'm going to turn away, going to my elbow here, and now we're on the same position, heel up, toes down, which is the angle to free my foot. Okay? So if he has a cross grip, I have to turn out, of course, do it fast so he doesn't jump on my back. Okay? Thank you. Hi guys, Gaspn here. Today let's take a look on how to defend the straight ankle lock, okay? Straight ankle lock is the first submission the first leg attack that you should know. It's allowed in most tournaments, even at the white belt division. Okay. Starting from here, Chris is gonna get my foot. He's gonna be in the Ashigarami position, which is his foot by my hip, his foot hooking my far leg, and he has a nice tight bite on my ankle, right? First thing that you should do is, of course, what does he want to do? He wants to extend my foot, right? So to buy some seconds here, I want to flex my foot. If I flex my foot, I buy 2-3 seconds here, which allows me to start escaping. If I don't flex my foot, I'm gonna tap probably right now, right? So first, flex my foot. Second, I wanna untie this, right? I wanna undo what he's doing here. So I'm gonna sit up and I'm gonna push his foot down, clearing from my hip. Grab closer to his toes, push it down as I'm still flexing my foot. The other hand I cup here on the inside of his knee, okay? This hand here is super important because it's not going to allow him to go belly down, which would be his combo here. He has his leg position, he's attacking my foot. Flex, inside, and foot. Push it down. I'm gonna pass my hip all the way to the other side. Once I get here, there is no foot lock anymore, okay? He cannot follow me, right? If you try to arch as much as you can, Chris, yeah. There's nothing, right? He's not controlling my hip anymore. I can move freely, right? The only problem here, as we talked before, is if I forget to check this knee here, and I'm just walking around like this, he's gonna go belly down and catch me belly down foot lock, right? I will have to tap on that. Inside of it, flex my foot. Control the foot close to his toes, control the inside of the knee. Push down, hop over, keep opening as I walk to the side. I'm going to change my grip here. Push the knee, keep opening the knee. He cannot follow me, even if he arcs as much as he wants, it's going to be hard. He won't be able to finish me. And I'm going to free this foot now by kicking on his hip. That's my escape. Just pay attention so he doesn't grab my other foot either. Okay? We are here. He has his leg entangled, Ashigarami position. Flex my foot, both at the same time, toes and knee. Hop over, change my grip, keep opening the knee, walk more to my side. I want to be pretty much perpendicular to the guy. Kick and free. He wants to extend my foot, I want to bend it. So, if I cannot bend my foot, if I cannot bring my toes close to my shin, I bring my shin close to my toes. That's the idea. I move my body instead of moving my foot if it's already too late. Alright? Thank you very much.